But Bruce Pritchard later stated that McMahon admitted to regretting the fallout not being resolved before the world lost the 8th wonder of the world.
Oh, what's up? Oh, what's up?
Yo, what up? It's Amaj back in another video. Today we're about to be reacting to a video by WrestleMania, and it's gonna be on wrestlers' careers that were ended unceremoniously. What does that even like mean? Is it like a retirement or something wasn't good? But enough my yapping.
And the Ultimate Warrior. Now, the second biggest star of the WWF's golden era, behind only Hulk Hogan, or ahead of Hulk Hogan, depending on your disposition, the Ultimate Warrior technically endured 3 in-ring retirements, each one more embarrassing than the last. He first stepped away from the spotlight in late 1992 in what was described as a semi-retirement. Warrior returned for an odd 1996 stint under Vince McMahon's penmanship, and a subsequent 98 return with WCW that produced some of the worst professional wrestling this side of Heroes of Wrestling. He seemingly surrendered his in-ring duties for good when he and Hogan failed to recreate era-defining magic of WrestleMania 6 and 98's Halloween Havoc. But his actual farewell came a decade after that for a lowly indie outfit in Spain against Orlando Jordan, somehow going 17 minutes with JBL's former chief of staff. The match, which was contested for New Wrestling Evolution's heavyweight title, was nothing out of the
Oh man, it just had to just be so sad to just kind of go out that way. Not knocking nobody, but like Orlando Jordan, come on, man. They could at least like made him come back to WWE, but like I don't know if like WWE and him were like kind of cool at the moment, but like I kind of wish he just went out in WWE.
ordinary for the Ultimate Warrior. Rest holds padded the match, and he got his big comeback, and 2 flying shoulder tackles later, he tasted his final slice of wrestling gold. It's believed that this comeback was done so that his daughters could watch him wrestle, which may be both touching and torturous, given that he was no condition to compete in 98, let alone 2008. And that was it. That was his last ever match. You can only imagine that the Warrior was paid a substantial amount of money to come out of retirement and wrestle a match in Europe. Warrior would actually leave the belt in the ring and never wrestle again. Number 9. Ken Shamrock. Much like the Ultimate Warrior, Ken Shamrock had taken several leaves of absence from the ring, but his latest appears to be his last. He hasn't wrestled since August 2022, and at 61 years old, he's definitely in no state to add another match to his record. Believe it or not, but his last
Forgetting, I thought this dude was like at least like around Triple H's age, or like, you know, at least hitting the 49s, but I keep forgetting that was like way before my time because he was like wrestling in the 90s. And yeah, people around that time and now are getting really kind of old. Well, the people that are around like 30-ish in that era are getting pretty old.
This match was a win over Harry Smith, the son of the British Bulldog, and it was for the Philadelphia-based indie group Battleground Championship Wrestling. But mainstream-wise, the most dangerous man in the world suffered a bizarre disappearance in the wrestling abyss. Shamrock returned to TNA in 2000 for the company's February 3rd airing of Impact Wrestling.
I'm not gonna lie, this nigga does stay in shape. He does stay in shape. I mean, it sucks how he went out, like, you know, his few retirements, but like, he does stay in shape.
He was in storyline suspended indefinitely after putting his hands on the then TNA commentator D'Lo Brown, and is currently serving his 5th year in TNA Purgatory. In actuality, Shamrock took a step back from pro wrestling after struggling to compete without a live audience and quietly departed from the Impact Zone. Right now, he's under a Legends deal with WWE and is annually rumored to enter the Royal Rumble match, though Triple H is yet to pull the trigger on a Shamrock surprise. Perhaps with this year's Royal Rumble being in Saudi Arabia, they might pull out a big shock. Number 8. Viscera. Whether he was on a mission as Mabel, gyrating his hips at a disturbed Lillian Garcia as Viscera, or acting as the hired muscle of Matt Striker as Big Daddy V, the real-life Nelson Frazier left an indelible mark in pro wrestling, being regarded as one of the ring's most underrated super heavyweights. He remained active following his second departure from WWE in 2008, touring various North American independents, and found a home away from home in All Japan Pro Wrestling. What transpired as his final in-ring showdown was a throwaway encounter for Qatar Pro Wrestling against Rene Dupree. Frazier was victorious, competing under his Big Daddy V guise before he took a sabbatical to focus on his weight loss. But tragically, a fatal heart attack robbed the one-time King of the Ring of continuing his career 100 pounds lighter. His wife Cassandra left a gut-wrenching comment with TMZ in the wake of her husband's passing. "I guess the good Lord wanted him. I wanted him too, but he won." Number
Bro, you know what's kind of sad about this? Like his passing away. WWE didn't even like do any type of mention of him. I was like, what? Just to learn about that, and like, man, right? Rest in peace to Viscera. But like every time his name comes up, I just the disturbing shot of the 2007 Royal Rumble. Everybody just staring at him, just getting Matt Hardy back shots. Bro, oh god, man.
7, Road Warrior Animal. Much like how Bret Hart is a wrestler's wrestler, the Road Warriors were a tag team's tag team. They were freakishly athletic powerhouses whose Doomsday Device finisher was the most protected and the most dangerous of its time. Just ask Braun Breaker. On his own, however, Animal was just a lost cause in wrestling. Tagging with Hawk one last time for a forgotten 2003 Raw match versus Kane and Rob Van Dam, his passing later that year left Animal to forge his own Heath Slater's quest to destroy WWE's past. He actually helped open All In 2018 and ended his career as the enforcer to Teddy Long for the Texas-based SWE Fury. He would pass away in September of 2020 after suffering a heart attack before the thought of an official farewell had entered his mind. It was an unfortunate conclusion to an otherwise legendary wrestling career. Number 6, Kane. And although the focus has now shifted to prioritizing surprise entrants from NXT, the Royal Rumble match has historically featured legends from the past making surprise comebacks to typically rapturous ovations. With Edge in 2020, Mr. Perfect in 2002, Diesel in 2011, and Rey Mysterio in 2018 amongst those who have received the warmest welcome back. It's rare, however, for the Royal Rumble match to mark a wrestler's final in-ring outing, unless you're Kane. The Big Red Machine hung up his mask for good after entering the 2021 Rumble, where he lasted shy of 2 minutes before being dumped out by Damian Priest. He's made the odd appearance since, including being inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2020.
I mean, I kind of get it, bro. You want to give like younger stars a shine and everything because it wasn't. I felt like it was really back like that back in the day with Vince McMahon always wanted to let the damn older like stars kind of get more shine. By older stars, I meant like retirement people coming back to just wrestle.
2021, but the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee has refrained from reprising his iconic role in an in-ring environment. It's unlikely to change either, as Kane explained on Busted Open Radio that a retirement match is likely behind him. "I don't know about that, man. Oh man, brother, we're just talking about athleticism and movement and keeping up with the pace of people nowadays. That may have left me behind, guys." Number 5, Tito Santana.
He knows.
Widely regarded as a golden era gem, Tito Santana was almost something of a pro wrestling journeyman, working everywhere from the heavy heights of the WWF and WCW down to the lowly independent companies that padded out his later years. But it was under Vince McMahon that El Matador delivered his most stellar work. He was a 2-time Intercontinental Champion, a 2-time Tag Team Champion, and the 1989 King of the Ring. He also helped bridge the gap between the Golden and New Generation eras. It can be reasonably justified that Tito devoted the work ahead of him outside of Vince McMahon's fledgling empire, which included a stint as one of ECW's earliest heavyweight champions. Believe it or not, Tito was still wrestling in 2019 at the Legends of Wrestling Detroit show. Obviously, that wouldn't have been a fitting farewell either. Number 4, Andre the Giant. I was sad to witness the declining health of Andre the Giant, who sadly passed away from congestive heart failure in January of 1993. Figuratively and literally the biggest draw in wrestling throughout the 80s, Andre could barely walk by the dawn of the decade and required the use of a cane during his final televised appearance on American soil.
Sad,
that occurred actually not for the WWF, but rather WCW. He emerged on the 20th Clash of the Champions special in September 92, souring the close relationship he had with Vince McMahon that remained strained until Andre's eventual passing. Bruce Pritchard later stated that McMahon admitted to regretting the fallout not being resolved before the world lost the 8th wonder of the world.
Vince took it hard. Vince and Andre were the same age and had birthdays that were fairly close together. And Vince considered Andre.
Damn, I didn't even know he was a The same age as Vince McMahon. I keep forgetting around that time Vince McMahon kind of took hold of the company like at like a good young age, and like there's wrestlers like uh, the damn same age as him. I keep forgetting in my mind there like Vince McMahon wasn't old for the rest of his life because like I was always used to this nigga being old because I'm a 2000 baby.
One of his best friends, and really hated the falling out that they had. So I think there was a little bit of regret that that hadn't been completely rectified, and that he didn't have the opportunity to say goodbye to his friend.
His last match was a disturbing watch. Teaming with Giant Baba and Russia Chimera, Andre toppled Masanobu Fuchi, Motoshi Akuma, and Haruka Eigen for All Japan Pro Wrestling in an 11-minute match that he visibly struggled to get through. Number 3. Roddy Piper. Now you can argue that Roddy Piper never retired, he just stopped wrestling. The Hot Rod continued making irregular appearances for WWE until his July 2015 passing, including being a resident on Legends House and
Rest in
hosting various
peace,
Piper
man.
Pit segments with Rusev, Chris Jericho, and The Shield amongst his final guests, but he hadn't wrestled past 2011, delivering 4 matches that ranged in quality. He won an Oddball Legends Battle Royal for PWG that January that resulted in Jimmy Hart, Vampiro, and Chavo Classic bizarrely becoming PWG alumni, and followed it with 2 below-average matches for WWE. He and pro skateboarder Rob Drydeck defeated Tyson Kidd and Zack Ryder during WrestleMania 27.
Damn, why you had to butcher Derek's name like that? God damn.
Access, before 2 months later, he pinned The Miz in his final WWE outing. His actual final outing was a tag team match for Juggalo Championship Wrestling, where the combined age was 230 years old. There, he and Cowboy Bob Orton defeated Mick Foley and Terry Funk. Number 2. Chyna. Chyna only wrestled 112 matches.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. It really see like people. I think you should kind of like know when to retire. Like John Cena kind of put that all on the table right there. Just knowing when to retire, so they won't see you in your like older age, just like all beat up and just like out of whack. But these are legendary wrestlers. I'm just like adding some type of criticism right there.
But she managed to break down every barrier along the way throughout her impressively brief career and achieve numerous male-orientated feats in WWF, with her acclaimed Royal Rumble participation in 1999 and 2000 ultimately
Chyna was
paving the
cool,
way
bro.
for an all-women's offshoot in 2018. Despite her successes, however, Chyna departed the WWF on acrimonious terms. The breakdown of a relationship with Triple H and the potentiality of having his affair with Stephanie McMahon and the lack of equal pay were reportedly driving factors in a dismissal, with the real-life Joanie Laurer remaining on WWE's Do Not Mention list until her 2016 passing. Her run would end in 2001 and a subsequent 13
It really sucks that it takes a death for them to just like mend fences and just try to like make sure everybody gets their respect in the WWE now. I mean, well, back then, but like I'm glad things are kind of different now with Triple H in charge and like Nick Khan and them trying to mend fences. We seen everything with CM Punk at least, but like it really sucks that it took a death to just like kind of mend fences with her family members and everything, and like give her like her royalties.
match stint in New Japan Pro Wrestling that didn't last past 2002, but the Ninth Wonder of the World didn't fully retire until 2011. That year, she made a legitimately shocking debut for TNA as Kurt Angle's mystery associate. Together with her old Attitude Era colleague, Chyna defeated Jeff and Karen Jarrett in a bittersweet final match. And number 1, Randy Savage. For a wrestler who built a career upon match quality, Randy Savage certainly didn't care for what he produced when he landed in TNA. Finally debuting at 2004's Victory Road, the Macho Man was paired with Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles against the Kings of Wrestling Jeff Jarrett, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall for the following month's Turning Point. It was an all-star lineup until it wasn't, as Savage didn't emerge until the final few minutes, decked out all in black where he hit a couple of punches for the cheap win. There was no flying elbow drop, no colourful ring attire, and no Macho Man mannerisms. He wrestled as if he was a Randy Savage impersonator. Now, the story behind Randy coming into TNA is even more wild than the match. His Victory Road debut came after months of speculation and outright teases, and even when he finally did show up, he did so with a list of demands longer than Chris Jericho's list of 1,004 holds. Furthermore, he walked out of 2 sets of Impact tapings, the latter being the last straw for TNA executives, and any further plans for Savage in TNA were canned. Perhaps if this didn't happen, Randy Savage could have had a great farewell to wrestling.
I mean, given a lot of wrestlers and a lot of older wrestlers, like just because a company is what it is and like they think they're better than that company. I'm not saying like Randy Savage isn't a legendary guy, but like I feel like they kind of try to take advantage of those smaller companies and just list out a pay that WWE wouldn't. But man, it is really sad like seeing like these last few matches from all these wrestlers. I think it's a good thing that John Cena, I hope people follow what he says, and like knowing when to quit is a time, because we do not want to see all of our favorite wrestlers broken down and just like wrestling their last match, and that's all people remember them from. But hey guys, if you like this video, I'll be reacting to more WWE videos. We on the road to 300. See you guys in the next video.